Existential. That's the word officials at both the FBI and the CIA used for this threat. A federal auditor wrote it down. Then, that auditor spent 2.5 years asking what the Bureau was doing about it. This is the answer. The FBI has a name for it: Ubiquitous Technical Surveillance. The widespread collection of data and the application of analytic methods for the purpose of connecting people to things, events, or locations. 5 vectors: visual and physical, identifying people or objects through cameras; electronic signals, mobile phones; financial, transaction records tied to an account holder; travel, hotel stays, border crossings, plane reservations; online, advertising data from web browsing and social media. None of that is a spy tool. It is the exhaust of an ordinary life, bought and sold on the open market. The audit cites a study, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, 2015. Anonymized credit card data. 4 transactions was enough to positively identify the cardholder 90% of the time. The report's own framing: recent advances in commercially available technologies have made it easier than ever for less sophisticated nations and criminal enterprises to identify and exploit the vulnerabilities this creates. Less sophisticated. That's the point. This no longer takes a state. The report gives examples. The FBI provided them. The leader of an organized crime family suspected one of his people of being an FBI informant. To check, he went through the call logs on that person's cell phone, looking for numbers that might belong to law enforcement. He ran an online search on one of them. The rest of that paragraph is blacked out. And this one, 2018, the El Chapo case. An individual connected to the cartel contacted an FBI case agent. That individual said the cartel had hired a hacker, one who offered a menu of services related to exploiting mobile phones and other electronic devices. According to the individual, the hacker had watched people going in and out of the United States Embassy in Mexico City, identified people of interest for the cartel, including the FBI's assistant legal attaché, then used the attaché's mobile phone number to obtain calls made and received and geolocation data. According to the FBI, the hacker also accessed Mexico City's camera system, followed the attaché through the city, identified the people he met with. According to the case agent, the cartel used that information to intimidate and, in some instances, kill potential sources or cooperating witnesses. Nothing was hacked inside the FBI. A man had a phone. A city had cameras. That was sufficient. And the report presents this as an illustration of the threat, not as a finding against anyone. That passage made headlines everywhere the week this audit came out. The findings did not. So, here they are. December 19th, 2022. Inspector General Michael Horowitz writes to FBI Director Christopher Wray, Management Advisory Memorandum 23-013, sent mid-audit because the auditors did not want to wait. The finding? The Bureau's response to the threats posed by changing operational technologies has been disjointed and inconsistent. 2 recommendations. Perform a comprehensive enterprise-wide assessment. Fully implement an enterprise-wide training plan. And a warning, drawn from the OIG's own prior audits, that the FBI has tried to solve enterprise-wide problems from inside a single division before, and it has not worked. The Insider Threat Center, which struggled until it was moved out of the Security Division. The National Covert Operations Section, which could not establish itself as the enterprise lead because it sat in the Criminal Division. And an earlier attempt to create an Office of Tradecraft, which did not gain traction, in part because it would have lived inside one division. The FBI concurred with both recommendations. The director acted. Ubiquitous Technical Surveillance was elevated to a Tier 1 enterprise risk. The Office of Integrity and Compliance was instructed to conduct an internal review. It stood up a red team of senior executive service personnel from every division. 3 goals: identify the vulnerabilities, build a plan, report to the director. January 19, 2023. Kickoff. 22 officials, 13 of them senior executive service, representing 11 divisions. February 2nd. First working meeting. The roster grows to about 30. Representatives from 22 divisions, plus subject matter experts. 10 more senior officials kept apprised. Every division was to run an internal gap analysis and sort what it found into 6 categories: policy, procedures, training, monitoring, auditing, and one more the public version does not show. In January 2024, the auditors asked to see it. They were given a single page. 3 of the 6 categories: procedures, monitoring, and auditing, not addressed on it at all. And for the 3 that were there, the report states it plainly. The document contained no details, explanations, or analysis. That page is reproduced in the audit as Exhibit 1. It is 3 questions. Are the policies that we currently have sufficient? What enhancements do we need to do? Are the trainings that we currently have sufficient? In the public version, every answer beneath them is a black rectangle. After the FBI read a draft of this audit, it told the Inspector General that the page had only ever been intended as an outline. There was already a better one. Before the Red Team existed, the Counterintelligence Division had run an extensive independent review, how these risks could affect a typical FBI investigation. Not just counterintelligence cases, any case. It was called Anatomy of a Case. Its distribution was limited because of the sensitivity of what was in it. February 2023. The auditors asked the Office of Integrity and Compliance whether that document could serve as a blueprint for the Red Team's work. The office tells them it was not aware of the effort. Based on the OIG's inquiry, not the Bureau's, the Counterintelligence Division presents Anatomy of a Case to the Red Team the following month. Minutes from the next meeting record that members appeared unsure whether to identify specific vulnerabilities the way that document had, or to look at broader gaps instead. The Directorate of Intelligence suggested broader gaps. The report's conclusion? The Red Team's gap analysis did not appear to account for most of the vulnerabilities the Counterintelligence Division had identified. In the public version of this audit, Anatomy of a Case is 3 consecutive pages of solid black. September 2023. The auditors review the draft mitigation plan. The number of action items is redacted. The categories are not. Policy, procedures and analysis, training, monitoring, auditing and inspections. Participation had thinned. According to the Office of Integrity and Compliance, division involvement waned toward the end, and a smaller group of 7 divisions finished the work. The auditor's finding: the plan did not explicitly link each action item to a vulnerability, so it was not clear that the gap analysis had identified all of them, or that the plan would address them. More than a year later, November 2024, after the FBI had reviewed a draft of this report, the Bureau provided an updated version with additional items. Too late in the process for the auditors to analyze. Subsequent to the draft report, the FBI also produced a completed crosswalk, mapping every vulnerability in Anatomy of a Case to the mitigation plan. The OIG's assessment. That satisfies the intent of the recommendation. But the mitigation plan is still in draft form. Subsequent to the audit fieldwork, the auditors were made aware of a data breach. Nearly everything about it is redacted. 4 survivable sentences. The FBI did not have policies or procedures in place. It appears the breach occurred due to practices the FBI had previously identified as poor tradecraft and among the Bureau's greatest vulnerabilities. Components throughout the FBI began assessing the risks that would likely result, and, in the auditor's judgment, neither the Red Team's gap analysis nor its draft mitigation plan was specific enough to leave the FBI significantly better positioned if it happened again. There is a unit for this, the Operational Security and Tradecraft Unit inside the Directorate of Intelligence. It talks to intelligence community partners about best practices. From the report, despite its expertise, it currently has no authority to compel FBI personnel to operationalize those best practices or take any particular action. The proposal to elevate it into an Office of Tradecraft never materialized. The report gives the reasons: resource issues and turnover of key leadership positions. So the Inspector General recommended the Bureau establish a clear line of authority for responding to enterprise-wide incidents. From the FBI's written response, Appendix 8. Given the broad nature of this risk, the FBI has not assigned one individual executive to handle responding to enterprise-wide UTS incidents. There is no one in charge. The training exists, a mandatory 45-minute awareness course to be completed by June 2024, repeated every 2 years. A 30-minute briefing at onboarding. A 2-hour block at Quantico for new agents and analysts. Beyond that, the HUMINT Intermediate course, the Advanced HUMINT Operations course, the Extraterritorial HUMINT Operations course, all optional. And the Directorate of Intelligence told the auditors that limited resources mean it can only offer them to a limited population of students. So it asked for more. From the FBI's written response, in the DI's fiscal year 2025 and fiscal year 2026 funding enhancement requests to the Department of Justice, the division requested additional funding and personnel to expand the number of courses offered each fiscal year. Both enhancement requests were denied. That is not the auditor's finding. That is the Bureau, reporting what its own department told it. 4 recommendations. The FBI neither concurred nor disagreed with any of them. It said it looked forward to addressing them and would take corrective action. The report status is listed as resolved. The mitigation plan is in draft. The strategic plan is not finalized. The line of authority does not exist. The advanced training reaches whoever the budget allows, and nobody broke a rule. From Appendix 1. Compliance with laws and regulations. In this audit, we did not identify any laws or regulations governing the FBI's tradecraft or its response to ubiquitous technical surveillance risks. There is no rule.